Yeah, he's on. Fish's mouth. Yeah. Yeah. Is it? Yeah. No camera. Alright, what?
And so that, people, is what's happening at Port St. John's. People are being intimidated with violence, and it's not a pretty scene at all. So this is a collection of videos that I've managed to get together and stills, so you can see for yourself what we're up against.
Smile! You must smile! Carry on jigging, Bobs! Yeah! Jig all day, smile for the camera!
Okay, so guys, I'm making a jigging trace. This is how you jig things. Illegal jigging. So basically it's just a piece of trace, and there's 2 hooks so far. I'm putting a third one on. There's a couple of knots you can use, but I'm not going to show you exactly how. Okay, so that's the third hook that's now on there. You see how they all stretch out nicely together. No bait whatsoever. They get a nice big sink on the end, which I seem to have mislaid. Okay, so you put this big sink on the back. This might be a bit too big, but just for purposes of demonstration, this is not legal. There's the sinker to throw across the horizon, and here come the treble hooks. Now these just get casted across the bay as you saw in the video, and jerk and catch them in the side and in the head lures. So that's legal. That's legal. You know, they're little fishies. This is against the law. This is illegal, and it cannot continue.
So, came under the Garrick, and that's hooked to these traces. What these O's are jigging with you now.
Garrick you can find all the way from Cozy Bay, Sardine, in the shallows down to Cape Town and around the corner slightly, but the tagging information we have that's been going on since 1983 shows pretty clearly that the fish run out at Cozy Bay, and that at Sardine Bay they run out too. They don't connect to the next gene pool of Garrick, as the next countries don't connect to the next gene pool. They sporadically occur along the entire west coast of Africa, but they are isolated populations. Right, and so our little South African population of Garrick that live here have got a real problem. Our addiction to sugar or whatever else that gets farmed inland has destroyed the rivers, estuaries that the Garrick and cob and many other species use along this coastline. Destroyed. Margate used to have a river, now it's got nothing. St. Lucia doesn't even open half the time. Destroyed river after destroyed river, estuary, and the only one left, unfortunately, that really works is obviously our good old Port St. John's. And here lies the problem. Firstly, these fish are spawning right now. This is the story of the birds and the bees for Garrick and cob. This cannot be interrupted or messed with. Secondly, baby Garrick stay in estuaries for a lot longer than you might think. Bigger Garrick, tagged, information again, do travel. They travel up and down the coastline quite happily. But sub-adults and juveniles, they just don't. And therefore, matter of fact, no fishing of any sort should be allowed during this particular moment in the Port St. John's estuary. Those Garrick and those cob are surviving off that single estuary at this point. They might be able to use some harbours and some other rivers that could be open, but for right now, Port St. John's estuary has got to be protected. But now look, we've got to be as objective as we can when we approach this scenario, and note that all these jiggers on the side of the river jerking these treble hooks around, they don't really catch 30 in one go. In fact, they don't even catch 10. So how these fish are ending up in photographs of 30 is the next big question. So I don't think that guy in the photo with all those 30 fish caught them himself, or his buddies caught them himself. I think that he bought them. So prove me wrong, please. Tell us your story. Put it on Facebook. Tell us what you were doing, posing in a photograph with 30 endangered fish at one time. We all would love to know. And so I had a very interesting situation. I put some of these pictures that come to me on social media and WhatsApp and stuff, and I put it on the Sardine news, and I wrote the article as I received it. And the two guys who were in this and very implicated in this story found it and freaked out, and they contacted me, and eventually they reported my story to Google or to whoever. They like, I got blacklisted for that story. And as it turns out, you're not allowed to post pictures of criminals engaging in criminal activity on Facebook or social media or anywhere, because it gives them the heads up, and the police could lose out on an advantage. So that's the one reason. Then the other reason is you can get into trouble. They can sue you for it. So don't do it like that. Rather, put all your little WhatsApp images and Facebook, whatever you receive that are questionable, and you send them off to me at umzimkulu@gmail.com, and I will forward that on to my colleagues, my friends, contacts at DAF, who are also going to be using this video to educate their own people on the intricacies of managing a population of fish.